What's up, guys? This is Sam Talks About Games, and considering that we're pretty close to a Nintendo Direct, um, I'm going to predict what's going to be in the Nintendo Direct, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what's going to show up. So, starting off, I'll get the obvious stuff out of the way, the Pioro stuff on Twitter. So he says there's going to be a Mario versus Donkey Kong game and some sort of F-Zero game, so I think those are going to be there because he has a 100% track record. And he also thinks there's going to be a DS/Wii remake that's there that's connected. Now, I could see it being Rhythm Heaven or Trauma Center. I'll put my money on Rhythm Heaven. But maybe Trauma Center would make more sense. I'll put my money on Trauma Center. Moving on, I'll get into my own predictions. I think we're going to see a Metroid Prime 2 Shadow Drop. Possibly Metroid Prime 3. It depends on how remastered 2 is. If 2 can stand on its own legs and it's half as good as the first remaster, I think it'll be a standalone release and 3 will come in February. But if it's just like a HDification, I think 2 and 3 are going to be released together like they did with Pikmin 1 and 2. And regardless, I think they're going to talk about Metroid Prime 4 in February. Not yet. I don't think it's time yet. And I think people who are hoping for Metroid Prime 4, I'm very sorry. Moving on, I do think they're going to talk about Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem 4 Remake has been rumored forever now. And we got news that, well, not news, but we could infer that Engage was kind of sitting on the shelf for a while. They had the game done for a while. They were just sitting on it for at least a year. So they must have been working on Fire Emblem 4 Remake quite a bit by now. So I think Fire Emblem 4 Remake could show up in the Direct, but it's a little bit of like a wild card option for me. And the reason I say that is because I have a feeling it could show up for Switch 2 instead of Switch, and if that's the case, it would show up in February, I think, because that's around the time Switch 2 would be announced. Yeah, so Fire Emblem 4 Remake, I'm still going to say shows up at this Direct, because I gotta have some interesting predictions in here, you know? We got some news from Jeff Grubb as well a while back about something Zelda. So Zelda's the big if here. I don't know if we get anything Zelda, and if we get Zelda, I don't know what we get. I'm just going to assume we get Zelda, and there's a few options. So there's Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, although I feel they would have done that already if they were going to do it. At this point, I almost feel like they're doing individual remasters for Switch 2 for Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. There's also the possibility of a Link Between Worlds port. I'd argue that's kind of the most likely, because it's not like they're going to do a lot of work to that game, you know? So I'm going to say a Link Between Worlds shows up here, even though it's probably not that specific thing. But I think there's something Zelda showing up, and a Link Between Worlds could be it. Moving forward, I think we get some more news on Mario Wonder, even though we got a Mario Wonder Direct. I do think we get news on it. I think we get news on the Princess Peach game, and we get a name for it and a release date. Same goes for Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I think we're going to get that listed on the eShop as well. It's going to get a release date. We're going to learn more about it. And I'm excited to see the price on that. Because they set a precedent with Prime Remastered for remasters. So we'll see if they take advantage of the Mario brand or not. As for the release timing of the Donkey Kong and F-Zero things, I think they're going to release this year if they're less significant. I think Mario versus Donkey Kong is definitely this year. Because that's a very small game. No matter how well you put it, it's small. Doesn't sell a lot. It's used as a game for the end of the life cycle. I could see why they're using it. It feels like after Mario RPG, it's going to be a lot of insignificant games, other than Peach and Luigi's Mansion, etc. So this kind of makes me think, if this Direct is as dry as we think it is Switch 2 coming in the first half? I have a hard time believing that they want to go about 10 to 11 months with smaller releases. I think that goes against Furukawa's mindset that they need to have a smooth transition, and I think it's stupid. I think they should release games into the next console's life cycle. It's the best way to preserve momentum. Unless they're planning for a first half release for Switch 2. And that's the reason we're getting some dry stuff, because it's right around the corner. It makes me think, if it's releasing in the March to June period, let's say it releases in June, they could announce it in like January or February. It's a little bit of a tight area to announce it, because you could burn people from the holiday season, but it is worth considering. But if it's in March, they're going to have to announce it like next month. So we shall see how that pans out. But I'm very excited to see what this Direct has to offer, because it's going to be very telling, even more telling than the June Direct. June Direct told us that Switch had a lot of life left in it, and Switch 2 wasn't coming out so soon. But this Direct may tell us, hey, Switch 2 is right around the corner. Switch is no longer in the limelight, as great of a console as it may be. That very may well be what this Direct tells us. And I'm excited for the future of Nintendo and how things are going to pan out from here forth. So, I will clarify, I don't think we're going to see any mention of a Switch 2 at this Direct. I think where we're going to get our mentions of Switch 2 are at Nintendo's investor meetings and such. But yeah, it's my predictions for the September Nintendo Direct and what I think its implications are. That's about it, guys. See ya.